Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Candid Talks with Proud Brown Girl. இன்னைக்கு என்னோட யார் இருக்காங்கன்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஒரு யோகா எக்ஸ்பர்ட் மை வெரி டியர் ஃப்ரெண்ட் Ramya is here with me. Thank you so much Ramya for coming on my podcast.
Thank you so much, Uma, for inviting me. It's really an honor to be here speaking to you. I mean, we've connected so much earlier, so I'm happy to be here today.
And to my audience, like she has traveled all the way from Oroville. எனக்கு வந்து தெரியாத அவங்க Oroville மூவ் ஆயிட்டாங்கன்னு like few days back தான் எனக்கு தெரியும். But podcastக்காக அவங்க வந்து சென்னைக்கு travel பண்ணி வந்திருக்காங்க. It really means a lot, Ramya.
Yeah.
Thank you. Because for the past 2 years, I think I've known you. And I have come on a yoga retreat with you to Oroville. And that's why I connected with you as a person. Instagram mattu illama, like that's when I met you as a person. And then like I'm really fond of your work. Whenever someone pings on Instagram like asking me to suggest any yoga experts, like yoga trainers, I send your profile. That is like by genuine thing, like I really love your work. That's how, you know, like I started connecting with you. So when I thought of a podcast with for a yoga session, immediately I thought of you only, and then I pinged you and you agreed. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah, the feeling is so mutual, you know. Ever since I spoke to you for the first time on the call, you know, and you referred to me as a friend. I remember very well. You're my friend. I'll do this for you. When we were speaking about something, I was like, oh wow, okay. So it's so nice to get to know that how genuine you are, how authentic your work is, and also the more I spoke to you, I connected with you really as a friend, and so that was a beautiful bond that we have apart from yoga as well. So I'm so happy. So that's the reason. When you asked me, I was like, yes, I'm going to come from Oroville.
Thank you, Ramya. So you tell us, like, how did your passion for yoga start, and how did your journey start? And did you study yoga somewhere? Some background about what you do and everything.
Okay. Yes. So I was not always into yoga, but yoga is something that I wanted to learn since I was a child. But I'm an engineer by qualification. You know, like all the kids who grew up in 90s, engineer or medicine was the two choice, and that is what was given to me. And I did not even know what other thing was there. I remember telling my parents I want to learn yoga as a practice, but my parents are very academic oriented, so they were like, you finish studying and then after that you do whatever you want, you know. And so I finished my engineering and then got into an IT job, and yeah, life was fine, but there was always this interest that I want to learn to practice yoga for myself, explore more about it. And that's when I enrolled into yoga classes close by home. By then I was already married. So yeah, I started learning yoga and all of it. The more I practiced, the more I felt so connected to it. One is connection. Also, I saw that it has so much of benefits on me. So I decided, okay, let me go a little bit more deeper and learn about it. So I came to Oroville, you know, for a good 15 days. I took a break from work and I came to Oroville to learn yoga philosophy. And then when I dwelled into more of yoga philosophy, I could even more relate to it more. And then I was like, okay, this is it. I'm going back to Bangalore. I mean, I'm from Bangalore. So I thought I'll go back to Bangalore, and somehow I will do a set of education that's needed for me to be able to share this knowledge and teach yoga to as many people as possible. And that is when I came back. While I was still working, I also started my education in the yoga field. Though it was so chaotic at that time, I remember I was literally out of home for 18 hours, my yoga studies and then also my corporate job. But it was all worth it. One fine day in March in 2018, I decided, okay, I'm going to take the step now, get into teaching yoga. And yeah, so from then I've been teaching yoga, practicing with more, learning it deeply. And it's been such a wonderful journey for myself and also for yoga to flow through me to help others.
Okay. And you also do it online and offline as well, right?
Yes, I'm doing online. So people from, you know, I have people from all over the world who join in my yoga classes, prenatal, postnatal, and even regular yoga class, meditation sessions I have. And also now in Oroville, I'm doing offline classes for the last 2 months.
The work you do, right, like it's also benefiting for you as well, not only to others, but like take us for example, we are into IT. There's nothing that we're getting benefited of except for the monthly salary. But yoga is different. That while practicing itself, you know, like being a yoga practitioner myself, it really calms me down. Like when I do yoga or meditation, I forget what's happening around. It really calms me down, and there is some sort of a peace that I gain while doing it. So when you are a yoga trainer, I'm just thinking like how your life is, you know, being a yoga practitioner yourself and how it's benefiting for other people as well. So kudos to what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
So now let's talk about transformation journey of any one of your student, like which you're really proud of? Can you talk about that?
Yes, there are actually many, like few of the common being a lot of women who come with thyroid and PCOD and PCOS. When they have practiced yoga consistently over the few months, they have seen changes in it where their thyroid level came back to normal. Like my own thyroid level, I did not know I had thyroid. This was several years back. When I was doing random check, I realized that there is thyroid, and I just focused on my lifestyle and yoga practice, and that really helped me to reverse my own thyroid level to the normal levels. And like I've had a couple of women, who had weight gain issue because of PCOD, PCOS, and stress they were taking up. And with the yoga practice, they've seen a lot of changes. And I've also had, another wonderful lady who was trying to conceive, but was not able to conceive for quite some time. And then when she joined yoga, and she was very religiously practicing with a lot of discipline, and within a year, she was able to conceive, and this is without any medication, because she was religious with her practice, and also in few lifestyle choices that I had recommended for her, because I'm also an Ayurvedic lifestyle consultant. And then also postpartum, I've had women who had sleep issues, there's this common problem amidst postpartum women, diastasis recti, where the abdomen muscles become weaker.
Okay.
So there are a lot of yoga practices that can help to strengthen the abdomen muscles. And I have seen women who've really worked on toning their internal system. It's not just about how you look, while of course that will also follow, but it's also how you feel inward. So like this, there are a lot of people, even in terms of I've had a couple of clients who found it difficult to like fall asleep because of their work pattern and all of it. And there was another client who wanted to genuinely lose weight because she was going to do a transplant, a kidney donation for her husband, and she was also able to lose the required amount of weight through yoga and some lifestyle practices. So these are few of the journeys I
Okay.
can list out. Yeah.
Okay. Talking about people who actually did it with discipline, have you also had clients where, they practiced it without discipline, like where you had to force them to do things?
There have been few wherein, so what I do generally when my clients come to my, any of my classes, and I see they're not regular, I always follow up with them, because when they are coming to me and they are trusting me and coming, I want them to really get the result they want, or at least go on that path with proper discipline and commitment. So I make sure that it is not easy, definitely that part, but somehow I feel it is also my job to help them motivate, because somewhere something is probably lacking, which if I'm able to give them, I'm sure then they will be able to come back on the journey and be disciplined. But it always doesn't work. For few people it does. For few people, no matter how much I try, they'll be like, yeah, I'll come, but they don't. So I also have to make peace with that I can only do so much in terms of trying to get people to practice regularly. After that, it's also their very individual choice.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can you also tell us about how yoga helps in connecting between mind and body?
Yeah. Okay. So the thing is, see, body is always in the present. It can be nowhere else. If you're alive, it's always in the present, right? Otherwise, also, it's always in the present. But the mind can travel everywhere. It can be in yesterday or 10 years back or 10 years in future and all of it. So the beauty of yoga is it helps to anchor your mind in the present, and that way it connects your mind to the body. And what's the wonderful tool that does that for you is the breath. In yoga, we focus so much on breath. You've practiced yoga. So, you breathe in into a certain posture, how you maintain the breath awareness throughout. So when you're focusing on your breath, you're giving your mind some work. Listen, focus on your breath. So when you're focusing on the breath, the mind is in the present. Of course, here and there, the mind wanders. But again, you come back to the present, focusing on your breath. So that way, the mind is now in the present. Now, the mind and body can both then work together to truly see the holistic benefits of yoga in terms of the physical health, mental health, and of course, even at a very emotional level also. You'll understand what's happening in your body when your mind is in the present. Maybe I can do something to make this better. And same thing the other way. You can see, why is my mind this way? Maybe I can do these things. So that bit of awareness comes in when you're practicing yoga with breath awareness. So, yeah.
So is it really important to do yoga with breath practice? Because sometimes I lose count and I'll start doing with my own flow. Is it really important to practice with breath?
Breath, yes, it makes a lot of difference when you are practicing with breath awareness. See, breath is nothing but your life, right? Your life force, what we call in yoga, the prana, the life force flows through the breath. So when you're focused so much more on the breath with the practice, you will feel the practice at a total different level. But yes, as a beginner, it is not possible. So in that case, I tell people who come in, it's okay if your breath is not matching my count, or if you're not able to breathe long and deep, absolutely fine. Just every time you get distracted, come back to your body, breath. Even 100 times if you get distracted in the 1 hour or even 10 minutes, keep coming back with kindness, not like, oh, I'm getting distracted, what to do? That's not how you approach. You will be like, okay, I got distracted, but I'll come back. You'll notice that how with practice, the amount of time the mind gets distracted will reduce for sure.
Okay. So when is the right time to practice yoga? Morning or evening? So because like being an IT professional, it's very difficult to get up in the morning, do yoga and then go to work. So I practice in the evening. But a lot of YouTube channels and a lot of reels which I've seen, like mostly people do it in the morning. What would you say?
So the best time to practice yoga is early morning during the sunrise or during the sunset. So evening practice is also absolutely fine. If you want the ideal time, it's during Brahma Muhurta, which is at 3:30 a.m., which even I won't get up to practice because, of course, I have so many things at home to take care. I have a small child who is 3 years old, right? So, but the same time, as close as possible to the sunrise and as close as possible to the sunset, which probably even if it's not at 6:30, 7, But what's important that you do a yoga practice on an empty stomach. Not immediately after you're eating, right? So that is something I always tell. It's okay if somebody is not able to practice, while morning and evening is the best time. Sometimes probably because of UK shift, somebody gets free at only 10 o'clock, to practice after they wake up and do their things. Still practice, but make sure you've not eaten your meal and then you're doing, because after your meal, all the blood should be in the digestive area for the food to get digested, But when you move to do an asana practice, the blood flows all through your body, and so your digestion is hindered at a large extent. So do not practice immediately after meal. 2 to 3 hours of gap, that is one thing. Any time of the day is okay, but ideally morning and evening is the best time. And one more important thing I should also tell you is, if you haven't slept well, like if you've stayed awake the whole night, then please don't practice yoga, because rest is equally important for you to also move efficiently, So make sure you get that rest and then you do the practice. But you'll also notice if somebody is not able to sleep consistently well, when they start practicing yoga, their sleep gets better. Sleep and digestion is something that really gets better the moment one starts practicing yoga. They'll start to see the difference in it in the few days.
Okay, Ramya, that helps. So, and also one more question I wanted to ask. This was from a follower. So, can we do yoga when during our periods? So, during periods, can we do yoga?
Yes. So during, there is literally no black and white yes or no to it. So you can do yoga, but if you have to ask me, you can do yoga during your menstrual cycle. But how are you feeling? So if you're having the cramps or lower back pain, then if you go ahead and do a full-fledged yoga practice, you're only causing more negative effects, right? So in that case, you have to alter the posture. So probably there are a lot of postures that's very comforting, which I've also shared about, which is very comforting, gives pain relief, helps to relax. So those kind of postures are good to do during menstrual cycle. So while a regular practice is okay, but if there's cramps and pain, then modify the practice accordingly.
Okay, Ramya.
Yeah.
So how does yoga help in handling stress and maintaining a good mental health?
Okay. So what is stress? Stress is primarily our reaction to any situations that's probably threatening to us, or a situation that's not comfortable. So it's our reaction that causes stress. It's not the situation. We say, okay, this is a stressful situation. It's not the situation that's stressful. It's how we react that can cause stress. So when you're practicing yoga, again, the mind-breath coordination happens. You're working also on handling your emotions better when you're working on yourself, right? So the way you react to things gets better. You'll notice that, a person who probably gets stressed easily, gets angry easily, when he or she is spending time in asana practice, breath practices, meditation, they will also know to take a step back and learn to respond rather than plainly reacting. So that in itself firstly helps us to deal with stress. So nobody can avoid stress, in today's world nobody can avoid stress, but how you react to it is what changes. And with the regular practice there's inner changes that happens within you, right? So through that, the way you react, respond will get better. So that will really help you in handling stressful situation. And as for the mental health, yeah, there are a lot of yoga practices, that can help to relieve anxiety. Like there are breath practices, there are a lot of relaxing postures that can help with anxiety. And at the same time, there are a few postures that one has to not do also, to not alleviate, to increase the anxiety and all of that. So there are practices, like if I have to tell you, for example, relaxing posture practices every day, meditation, a body scan relaxation, tense and release exercise, which are all we also include in yoga. They're all very good to help release stress and also improve mental health.
Okay. And I also wanted to ask, like, what are the different types of yoga, Ramya? Like, as far as I know Ashtanga yoga, Hatha yoga.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the few things that I know. Are there anything apart from that?
See, these are not the types of yoga. There are types of yoga totally different. The actual types of yoga are Raja yoga, Bhakti yoga. See, what we generally think yoga is on the mat. But no, yoga is a way of life. For example, Bhakti yoga is a concept where you follow yoga just by pure devotion. Like you've come across Mirabai, who's a bhakti yogi, right? She only was singing songs in devotion for Krishna. So like that. So there are those are the different parts of yoga. You are talking about the Hatha yoga, Ashtanga yoga, they all come under, you can't call them as a different kinds of yoga, but there are like different streams in Raja yoga, where there is a lot of importance given to asanas along with pranayama and meditation. So in that, if I have to tell, in Raja yoga, there is, Hatha yoga, Ashtanga yoga, Yin yoga, which is a very relaxing form of yoga, which works on a much more deeper tissues, connective tissues in your body. Vinyasa yoga, which is one of my favorite. It is like a moving meditation practice. You're moving and literally you're focusing on your breath, and it's beautiful on the go meditation. Restorative yoga. So these are primarily the things. And Iyengar yoga, where you use a lot of props and you hold postures for a long time. So within Raja yoga, so these are all the available streams which are popular now. Yes.
Okay. That gives a lot of clarity. As far as I knew, like only Vinyasa, Hatha and Ashtanga, I know.
Okay.
Like after you said, there are so many things.
There are, yeah.
Okay.
Different schools have different, like I come primarily from the Bihar school of yoga, so which gives a lot of focus on Hatha yoga. But along the journey, I also learned Yin yoga, restorative yoga. So I've done a lot of education in that field also, which can help me diversify and get the benefits that each of these different kind of, I wouldn't say kind of yogas, but yeah, different sub branches of yoga has to offer. Yeah.
Okay. I also wanted to ask about, like, a person who is a beginner and he feels that he's not flexible enough. How can he start the yoga journey?
So you don't have to be flexible at all to be, this is the common thing I get from people. They'll be like, I can't practice yoga, I'm not flexible. And I'll be like, then you need yoga more than anybody else. You don't have to be flexible to be practice yoga. So that's the beauty of yoga. There is something for everyone in it, literally everybody at whichever different stages of life you are in, a senior citizen or a new mother, everything. There's something for even if you're not flexible, if you're practicing with the right teacher, the teacher is going to give you the modifications that's required to help you gain all the benefits of the posture. So it's not about, are you able to touch your toes? No, if you're able to touch your toes and doing the posture in a wrong way, then it's of no use. You're doing more harm than good to you. But if when you're doing a forward fold, rather than focusing on touching the toes, think about how you're keeping the spine, how you're working on, your breath. So those are the things that matters. Touching the toes or doing a deep back bend, that will all come with time or might not even come, because each of our body is so different, right? Structurally, we are all different, which cannot be changed. It's an inner skeletal structure. For few people, there's only so much they can do physically in the movement aspect, which is fine. But when you're doing it with a lot of modifications, the correct modifications, you will get all the benefits that each posture has to give you.
Okay. Because a lot of people think that, like as you said, only if they're flexible enough, they can do yoga.
Yeah.
That's what like people generally have in mind. I thought like I'm flexible, so I started yoga. That's what my friend says. She says that, you are flexible, that's why you're able to do it. I say her, no, it's not like that. But that's the general thought that people have in mind, and you actually beautifully addressed it.
Yeah, and I'm not flexible at all, like I'm not born flexible. Even now, I have to really work on a lot of warm ups to open my body in a certain posture. So it's the work you're able to put with whatever modifications and variations that's needed that matters. Yeah.
Okay. So another question from a follower is like, is facial yoga for real?
So I hear so much about this, and before I used to react, and now I don't react. There is nothing called as facial yoga. Honestly, people are naming everything as yoga. There's beer yoga and so many other. No, you just can't put yoga and call anything you want as yoga, right? So maybe there's facial exercise, facial toning with a certain set of movements, but it is not yoga. Yeah.
Okay.
Facial exercise, we should stick to that.
Okay. I think because I've seen reels as well with facial yoga and everything. I was thinking it was for real.
Yeah.
Maybe it helps, but as
It
you said,
helps, but it's not yoga.
It's not yoga.
Yoga
Okay.
is totally different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Ramya. So how do you maintain your personal life and the yoga time of yours? Because like you're teaching it online and everything, you're going and teaching in Auroville as well. You have a son, beautiful son. You have a husband. Like, how do you maintain your personal life here? Balancing.
So the thing is, once I started practicing yoga, and more than practicing, once I started teaching yoga, I did not see my life as different and yoga is different. Yoga is not just that few hours you spend on the mat. Yoga, as I told you earlier, yoga is a way of life. So I try to see how I can incorporate whatever I learn or even I teach, walking the talk in my personal life as well to the best of my capacity. And so that way, I really don't differentiate both as this is my personal life and this is my yoga. They interchange. I think that is what happens, when people talk about work-life balance also, I really don't understand that concept because somehow they're all together, they're all interlacing. How are you able to put everything together at the same time, not get affected by it, do what is needed? I think that's what matters. So I try to take whatever lessons of yoga in my every day-to-day life. And yeah, that way I'm able to navigate in my personal life as well.
Okay. So if I have to ask you like your life before you did yoga, before you started learning yoga, and after how it changed your life, are there any two different eras to it? Like before yoga, you were this person, like overthinking person, or a person who like not you is not focused on things because yoga helps in focusing, right? So on things when you work and even in personal life, it really helps in focusing, and there are a lot of benefits. Has it really helped? Like pre and post yoga era is there in your life?
Yeah, it is there. So I was always a very disciplined, hardworking and focused person.
Oh, you're always that.
But I'll tell you what, but I can't maintain the focus for longer time. I'm doing something before yoga. If I'm doing something, I'll be like, get bored, move on to the next one, get bored, move on to the next one. I've done so many things, I remember before I started actually teaching yoga, there are actually small projects I worked on trying, and people around me used to ask me, what only do you want in your life? I'd be like, I don't know what I want, but I truly am figuring out what all I don't want, so that's how it was. While I could give my attention and focus, I could not do it for a long time. It was short, and I would jump around. But when I started practicing yoga, it would have been very easy for me to tell I can't meditate because I can't sit still. I'm somebody who, don't watch movies because I can't sit in one place for 3 hours. And even in like theaters, I don't know how people sit for 3 hours. Like those are that is the kind of person I am. So when I did my meditation for the first time, I'd be like, I can't do this, I can't sit for 10 minutes in one place. So that is where yoga helped me to improve that consistent focus. And I think that is what's needed in life, right? Where you are consistently focused on one thing. At the same time, you're also experiencing the thing that comes with it, not just about end goal. Before I used to be like, I'll just reach the end goal. That's it. So whether I'm enjoying the process, whether I'm having fun, doesn't matter. Like, just do it and finish it. It was all about ticking. But now that focus has improved, the quality of that focus has improved, where also enjoying the things that comes along with it, but at the same time try not to get too affected. Before I would get very easily, I was big time into people pleasing. Again, I was probably the first child, girl child. I just had to make everybody happy, so that is how I was. So but again, when I practiced yoga and I realized that it's not my job to seek happiness outside, or not that I'm somebody who should always make everybody happy. No matter how much I try, that's not at all possible. So, how I can truly live in the moment, have that happiness in the present rather than chasing it. So, these are the small, small things that yoga has helped me. And that's come with time, and that's come with asana, pranayama, meditation, a lot of self reflection. So that's why I say yoga is not just on the mat. It's the 1 hour of yoga that one does every hour in a day should really help them in the rest 23 hours. So that is the kind of journey that yoga helped me with. And I'm so grateful for that.
Beautiful. You said it like very beautifully.
Thank you.
So I can also see that your son is getting inspired by you in some stories where he's also coming and doing yoga along with you. So it's nice to see that.
Yeah. Whenever I chant any mantra, from the background, he'll be telling. So he wants to come and see all my, students who are practicing. So yeah, he's very interested.
Okay. So you tell us, Ramya, for a person who is like having a busy schedule, how can he incorporate yoga into his life?
Yeah. So for a person who is very busy, see, we always look at quantity. Whenever we want to do anything, we'll be like quantity, but it's more about the quality. If a person is very busy, is not able to, he or she is not able to spend 1 hour of yoga practice, it's fine. Can you allocate 15 minutes, 20 minutes every day and do that consistently? Not like one day full of josh, you do 1 hour practice and then don't do for another 1 week, and then again do for 1 hour and don't do for the rest 10 days. That is, it's not bad. That's still okay, rather than not doing anything, but you will not really see the complete benefits of it. So even if you're not able to do every day 1 hour, 15 minutes, I think 15 to 20 minutes everybody can take out, right? I'm sure, rather than scrolling, which is all fine, which is all valid. We all have to do that. We want to do that. But 15 to 20 minutes, I would ask to these people, I would tell, like, ask yourself, you're working, you're earning so much. For whom? For what? For yourself. And if you don't have the health and the wellness to really enjoy what life has to offer, then what's the point? Right? So take out that time, even if it's few minutes every day, and show up for yourself. Simple. Show love to yourself, care to yourself, and that'll make a lot of difference.
Okay, that advice was for me, Ramya, because recently I had been like working back and forth. Weekly, at least 3 days, I try to do yoga. But as you said, like, what are we working for? At the end of the day, it's for our health and well-being, right? If I'm not healthy, I will not be able to make money. So the ideal thing is health. Like wherever you jot down, it'll boil down to health only. So, spending like 15-20 minutes a day is like easily possible for anyone. So I think every one of us, be it yoga or any form of exercise, I think everyone should incorporate that in day-to-day life.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, Ramya. So you tell me, like, for a person who is beginning yoga, what advice would you give to them?
So for the person who is just starting off the yoga, I would say don't think a lot about what am I going to gain out of it. Will I lose X number of weight? Will I start sleeping 8 hours? Or will this hormone level come back to this? Trust your body. When you're starting off, in yoga, we work outside in, inside out. So trust the process, trust in yourself, and get a proper yoga teacher and go enroll into a class, join the class. Because for a beginner, it can be very difficult for them to do on his or her own, just following a recording, which is, I'm not saying it's not possible, but they need a little bit of that consistency, that, proper practice for them to do. So trust that your body, firstly, because our body has the capacity to it. So trust that your body has in it to take care of, itself, to heal itself if you're going through something. So trust and go for it. Initially, if it is going to be difficult, when I say difficult, if you're finding it difficult to wake up at a certain time, finding it difficult to dedicate 1 hour, trust me, it'll all slowly start to change. Because as you're practicing yoga, what happens is you will start to see how it's affecting you so positively that you will then want to wake up. Like I've had so many of my students, they'll be so happy even if I keep class on Saturday. Usually my classes are Monday to Friday, and when I'll be like, we'll have a class on the Saturday, they'll be like, yes, we are ready for it. I'll be like, okay, I thought you will tell you want to sleep a little extra, but no, they're so in it because they can see the difference, right? But for a beginner who's just coming, they come with a lot of expectations, with a lot of preconception of this, how things should be, all of it. So keep all of that, just trust in yourself, if not in anything, and take it up, and you will see how your body will respond and how things will happen to you. Yeah.
Okay, Ramya. And also, what are some of the misconceptions about yoga like you would want to address?
The first common misconception is definitely about flexibility. I'd be so rich if I would get money for 100 rupees every time somebody asked me this question, because everybody like, I'm not flexible. Can I practice yoga? So no, we already addressed that. The second common misconception is, I'm on the heavier side, so I can't practice yoga. No, you don't have to have a certain kind of a body. It's not that the body should be built in a certain frame, a thin frame, and not on the heavier side. No, I have seen women who are also on the heavier side do a lot of postures so beautifully, so it is not about that. It's so that is the second thing. It's not about the weight. Also, that only if you're a certain weight you can practice yoga. That is the second. And also the third thing being, yoga is too boring. A few people also think yoga is for old people. It's so boring. I would really tell them, please come to my class and then tell me if it's boring and tell me if it is like very easy and all of it. Come to one of my vinyasa class, and then you will sweat out so much. Even on the asana practice, and be like, wow, especially after vinyasa yoga, your body, your mind, your breath feels like I've done a great feat. So yeah, it is not something that's only for old people. And also another common myth is yoga is religious, which is also, I've seen people be like, no, it's a religious practice. No, not at all. See, while the ultimate goal of yoga is self-realization, which is also not religious, but yoga has something for everybody. Like few people will come probably only for the asana practice. Come. Few people will come just for relaxation. Come, so accordingly there is something for everybody based on the effort you're able to put in. Your discipline, your dedication matters, and that dedication and discipline also will only come with time. Like, don't wait for the perfect time and then say, okay, now I am ready, and or I'll be ready after 10 years. No. So these are a few things.
Okay, Ramya. And also, like pregnant women, can they practice yoga? And what is prenatal and postnatal yoga?
Yeah, absolutely. Pregnant women can practice yoga. So yoga is one of the most safest, in terms of movement they can do. And also yoga has a lot of breath practices and meditation practices, relaxation that helps a pregnant woman even during labor, childbirth. And if a pregnant woman is practicing yoga, her recovery also gets is much more better post childbirth. Like, even that is what I experienced as well. So while if the woman has been practicing yoga from before, she can continue to practice even immediately after she's pregnant. But if it's a first time pregnancy, a lot of women will be very tired. In that case, please listen to your body. The first trimester, first few weeks, just rest it out. Your body will give signals. Like, I remember in my first trimester, I just would get up to eat. I would be like, is this how my life going to be? No, but after I finished my first trimester, things changed, So if you've been practicing yoga, it's okay to practice in first trimester also, if you're not feeling so tired and fatigued. But if you're very new to practicing yoga, then start from the second trimester, so that your body kind of settles in, and then you can start off the practice. And prenatal yoga is different from the regular yoga. The postures, the meditation, pranayama, everything's tailor-made to suit a pregnant woman. So it's absolutely safe. So as long as the doctor has approved, if there's no medical complications, then yes, anybody, any new, pregnant woman can practice yoga. And as for new mothers, so for new mothers, even before you get into yoga, postnatal yoga, what we call, or any other movements, you have to give time for recovery. So 6 weeks of recovery time, if it's a vaginal birth. If it's a C-section, minimum 8 weeks. And after the respective weeks are over, once check with the doctor if there's any stitches, if they're all healed and all of it, and then you progressively can start off. So then postnatal is a totally different field on its own, where the woman's body has gone through so much during pregnancy and labor and childbirth, like so working on the abdomen strengthening, pelvic floor strengthening. That time the woman will not have much sleep, so how you can get that extra relaxation through yoga. So all of these things are there which we focus on for new mothers.
So much of information.
Yeah.
Thank you for explaining it clearly. So we almost come to the end of the session. So the last one thing I want to ask was like, from what age kids can start yoga?
Okay. So as for kids, a 3 to 5 year old can practice yoga in the form of plays, stories, songs. Like I'm also a children's certified yoga teacher. So when we are teaching children who are 5 years to 13 years, it's very fun, through a story. Like we create a jungle theme and different animals are different postures, and like that we teach them. So for 5 to 13, through stories or plays and songs. But if you're talking about a proper disciplined yoga practice, only after 13 years. Why? Because see, in the formative years, the children's body is still developing, their bones are still developing. So if you give them a very disciplined practice like how adults do, it can hinder their growth. So after 13 years, the child can start off with Surya Namaskara, Nadi Shodhana, Pranayama, or alternate nostril breathing, what we call, and then progressively take up the practice.
So for your son, you'll be the trainer, right?
I should see what right now. He is equally interested in football and yoga. He's too small, 3 years. He's just fascinated rather than interest. So let's see what he'll lean on to.
Okay, Ramya. So thank you so much for doing this episode with me, because being a practitioner myself, I really gained a lot of insights from you. A lot of questions that I wanted answers myself, like you explained them very clearly. So thank you so much, Ramya, for this episode.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It's always a pleasure talking or discussing with you.
Thank you, Ramya. Bye.